Welcome to the May 15th council meeting. If you'd all please stand and join us in the flag salute. It will be led by Councilman Elrod this evening.
Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Our first proclamation this evening is National Public Works Week, and I'd like to call up Assistant City Manager, Public Works Director Jose O'Leary. This is his first meeting back after being out on medical leave, so welcome back.
Thank you.
You're rather skinny now.
Yep, lost some weight, but very happy to be back.
Very good. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. The support and understanding and the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs, such as water, sewers, streets and highways, public buildings, and solid waste collection. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, the quality and effectiveness of these services, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work that they perform. Now, therefore, I, Eunice Emuloa, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim the week of May 20th to the 26th, 2018 as Public Works Week in the City of Chino, and I call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the services provided by our public works and to recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Jose?
Well, thank you, Mayor. And, as you just mentioned, I've been out for a few months and, my first week back. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud of the Public Works Department because they didn't miss a beat. There's so many things that they're involved in, and they just kept moving right along and did a great, great job. And I'm very proud of them and appreciative of the entire department. As you said in the proclamation, the responsibilities are great. Our sewer system, water systems, our streets, that's a lot of the responsibilities, our parks as well, that they're in charge of. And they all certainly do appreciate the council support, because without your council support and funding that you provide us, we can't get our jobs done. And then also we appreciate the patience of our residents out there, because when we're out there, we know it's an impact, and we appreciate all their cooperations. But to the council, a big sincere thank you from the entire Public Works Department, and we really appreciate your recognizing us with this proclamation.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, the next are several Hall of Fame award presentations. In March 1998, the City Council established the Hall of Fame Award to recognize individuals for their contributions to the Chino community. For many years, the Citizens Recognition Committee would make this selection. Unfortunately, we have lost many of those members and have turned the selection process over to a newly invigorated Chino Valley Historical Society, which is doing an outstanding job of preserving Chino's history. Tonight, we will be inducting 3 new members into the city's Hall of Fame. This prestigious award is presented to individuals who have made a major and lasting contribution to the development and progress of the city of Chino, and who have been outstanding examples of leadership and service in a manner that engenders honor and respect from a historical perspective for their participation in the community. The awards presented tonight will be on permanent display in the Chino Community Building, which is on 10th and B. I would now like to call up the president of the Chino Valley Historical Society, Ryan Cummings, and treasurer Edie Stasi Garcia, as well as many other members of the society who are present tonight to assist in the presentations. Okay. Our first presentation recognizes Alf Brown. Now, I would like to invite the members of his family to come up, please, while I read the award. Tonight is a very special night, and we have an unusual number of family members here from each of the recognized recipients. Okay, now this is, would you like me to hold it? Yeah. We have several members that have traveled here from Washington, and one of them is 91 years old. That's quite a trip. Okay, Alfred R. Brown, known as Alf, was a country farm boy turned businessman, civic leader, and community historian. Alf was born August 29, 1883 in Farmdale, California, son of covered wagon pioneers. 10 years later, he and a brother drove the family's 30 drought-thirsty cows on a 3-day trip to a new home in Chino, pasturing them on land now occupied by the Chino Airport. Mr. Brown attended Chino's old brick schoolhouse, and in 1900 he graduated from Riverside Business College. He began farming for himself in 1904, as well as engaging in custom hay baling and land leveling. With his work crews, he helped to build many of the first roads east of Chino. In 1913, Mr. Brown married Alice Beck. He continued in the building and construction trade for several years. In 1925, he built their house at 10th and D Streets, where they lived the rest of their lives. He then became an insurance agent and worked at it for more than 30 years. He was appointed as the district manager of the Farm Bureau for the State Farm Municipal Insurance Company and became the local agent serving Chino. Mr. Brown served as its chairman and was also secretary-treasurer of the Farm Bureau for 10 years. While on the Farm Bureau, he headed committees to enter prize-winning agricultural exhibits in the Los Angeles County Fair. Active locally, Mr. Brown organized the first Chino Safety Council in 1928 and was its chairman for 25 years. He also helped to set up a high school driver's education program. His civic involvement was extensive. He was a charter member of the Chino Lions Club and president for a term. He was chancellor, commander, and a 50-year member of the Knights of Fias? Okay, Fias, sorry about that. Chino Lodge, as well as a 50-year member and past president of the Chino Pioneer Society. Mr. Brown worked with the Red Cross and the Community Chest, as well as other charitable services. He was past director of the Chino Chamber of Commerce and was on the Chamber's Historical Committee serving as community historian. During World War II, Mr. Brown was in charge of gasoline rationing for all farm trucks and tractors for the west end of San Bernardino County. He received the American Legion's Distinguished Citizen Award in 1956. Alfred died on July 21st, 1961. This Hall of Fame plaque will hang in the community building. We will also, you want to hold that so that they can see it. We will also be sending copies of the plaques to each members of the family. And I'd like them to introduce themselves, please. Barbara, your name?
Oh, thank you very much. We're all very proud of my dad.
Oh, and this is
It's
Barbara.
Yes, and it was very hard for me. It was not my choice to leave Chino, but I followed where my husband led me, and it was to Washington State.
We do that,
Yeah,
don't we?
Yes, yes, that was what I was taught to do. So
Okay.
my son.
Tim Nichols. Alfred Brown was my grandfather. And I'm Ron Nichols, the oldest of the Nichols clan, and very proud to have been the grandson of Alfred Brown.
And I'm Melinda Vanderbilt, and he was my grandfather.
Unfortunately, I never met him, but I'm her chauffeur.
Her chauffeur.
No, we just appreciate you coming down.
My others would be here, but they were out of, one was in Europe traveling, and so.
So the members of the family are here, and this again is an unusual number of people to be here for this recipient of the Historical Society. So thank you all for being here this evening. Okay, next we're going to recognize and honor William Tilton Butterfield, and we have one gentleman here this evening who's a relative who will be up receiving the award. Edie?
I could do it as nice as you. Let me put this on there. How's that? Okay. All right. Is that? William Tilton Butterfield, known as W.T. Butterfield, became a master builder responsible for many structures in early-day Chino. He and his wife, Mary, also opened a ranch known for its fruit and grapes and helped build prize-winning fair exhibits for Chino. The story of his coming to California was typical of many of Chino's early pioneers. Mr. Butterfield was born on September 7th, 1853, in Randolph, Vermont. He was this was a hard one. He was the next to the youngest of 6 siblings. After the passing of his parents in 1872, Mr. Butterfield moved to Nebraska to help his brothers on their farms before striking out on his own. In 1880, the owner of a construction crew took notice of the hard-working young man and encouraged him to become a carpenter. And on January 1st, 1885, he married Mary Louisa Moore, the daughter of his employer in Tyrone, Nebraska. When jobs in Nebraska thinned out, it became evident he would have to leave his wife and by then 2 young sons to find work. In 1888, Butterfield took a train to Southern California. Until he found a job, he slept in the citrus groves. Butterfield found work as a beekeeper on a fruit ranch in what is now Highland Park. He also did carpentry work, dug wells, fixed wagons, and other jobs to bring his family to California. In August, Mary Louisa arrived with their 2-year-old son, Warren, and 5-month-old baby, Harry. The family grew with the addition of 8 more children: Nellie, Oliver, Will, Howard, Clarence, Florence, Albert, and Alice. In 1904, the Butterfields acquired an 8.5-acre ranch and mortgage and moved to Chino. Mr. Butterfield's first job in Chino was as a carpentry foreman for the New Methodist Church. He then became involved in building the Chino Bank and the Baptist Church. After these jobs, he got enough carpentry work for the next few years. And with his growing family, the ranch, and his busy work schedule, Mr. Butterfield always set Sunday aside as a day of rest. The family home on a high spot on Walnut Avenue near the future Newman School was expanded and updated several times and is still there today. By 1907, Mr. Butterfield had built 14 houses in Chino, and his Big Tree Fruit Ranch was very profitable. He had acres of fruit trees and over 100 different varieties of grapes. It was during this time that their 11th child, Ruth, was born. And besides running the ranch with his wife, Mr. Butterfield was also involved with the community and became the president of the school board. He won many awards at the Los Angeles County Fair for his elaborate agriculture displays of grapes and various citrus fruits. Mary had 42 years of service on the board of directors at the David and Margaret Home for Children in Laverne, and each year they tied money from the chicken proceeds to contribute to the Chino Methodist Church. hardworking, and giving back to the community were the cornerstones of the Butterfield family legacy. Mr. Butterfield was very patriotic and civic-minded and purchased war bonds as a way of supporting the war effort. Many households counted on buying his grapes for jams and jellies. He wrote poems and letters and assembled scrapbooks so when he was gone, his children would know how much he valued them and the city of Chino. Mr. Butterfield continued to work well into his 90s until his death on February 19th, 1947. He and Mary were married for over 62 years.
My name is Jeff Simons. I am the great-grandson of William and Mary Lou Butterfield, and I am honored to accept this award, Hall of Fame award, in behalf of the descendants of William and Mary. Howard Butterfield was the sixth child born to William and Mary, and he was obviously my grandfather. He had fond memories of growing up at the ranch and fond memories of Chino. One of the traditions that started way back in the 1920s was as the kids started to move away to college, they started a family letter where each of the children would write what was happening to them at the time and put it in an envelope and mail it to the next child, eventually coming back to the parents, and they would write their letter and put it in. Well, that tradition still exists today, almost 100 years later. The descendants take turns writing letters and staying in contact with one another. We have 13 people currently participating in the family letter. So it's quite an honor that we carry on their tradition of family bonds and traditions and brings us closer as family. So I do want to thank City Council, Mayor Eunice, Mayor Pro Tem Tom, and the City of Chino for this great honor. And on behalf of the Butterfield descendants, thank you very much.
Okay, our next, then we will be recognizing Edwin Jessup, or E.J. Marshall, and I'd like to invite his family members up, please. This proclamation is going to be read by Ryan.
Thank you. All right. Edwin Jessup Marshall, known as EJ, was a Southern California financier who rescued Chino from the bankruptcy confronting Chino's founder, Richard Gerd, at the turn of the 20th century when the real estate boom collapsed and Mr. Gerd became overextended. A native of Dulaney Valley, Maryland, born on March 18, 1860, Mr. Marshall struck out on his own at age 15 and went to work in the railroad industry. An enterprising young man, he went on to sheep ranching in Texas, then into oil and the creation of the Texas company known as Texaco. He also started working for a bank, which was Marshall's first calling, and remained there for 17 years and rose to be its president. After his first wife died, only a couple of years into their marriage, he married Sally McLemore of Galveston, Texas in 1892. Their only child, Marcus, was born the following year. Due to their son's health problems, Mrs. Marshall and Marcus went to California around 1900 while Marshall organized Texaco. On New Year's Day, 1904, Marshall arrived in California to join his family and had a job waiting for him as vice president of Southwestern National Bank. His interest in continuing his ranching enterprise led to the purchase of 3 ranches in Santa Barbara County. One of the ranches eventually became part of the Vandenberg Air Force Base. Marshall had thousands of acres in cultivation, including 1,000 leased to sugar beets. Marshall was one of the main investors in the 1904 acquisition of Rancho Santa Ana del Chino when Richard Gerd went bankrupt, amounting to 46,000 acres. In exchange for retiring the debt on the Gerd lands, Marshall acquired the Chino Ranch Holdings and Water Company. In 1905, the acquisition was finalized and the new version of the company was inaugurated as the Chino Land and Water Company. Marshall made much of his fortune on land speculation and sold the last of his Texaco stock in 1906. The new Chino Land and Water Company aggressively marketed the ranch and sold off significant sections of it, which further developed the township of Chino. Marshall helped landowners who purchased by contract from Gerd. He cleaned up the titles and gave deeds to those who completed their payments. Marshall was also the director of Edison Electric Company and had the company run electric lines to Chino to supply the ranches with power. During that time, irrigation was largely increased by Marshall with the new electric power pumps.
Marshall gave the land on Central Avenue between Chino Avenue and D Street for a new city park along with money to improve it. In recognition of the part he played in Chino's development, the old D Street School on Monte Vista Avenue and D Street was named for him. And when this school was closed down, the name was transferred to the new school at Telephone and Philadelphia Avenues. At one time, Mr. Marshall was known as one of the largest ranch owners and cattle raisers in the nation. By 1913, he was a director of 30 companies, including several based in Los Angeles, where he lived. In 1915, the family relocated to Pasadena, where he resided until his death on March 4th, 1937.
Thank you, Ryan. Would you like to introduce yourself? Say a
Sure.
few words?
I'm Maya Marshall Morrison, and he was my great-grandfather. And we wouldn't be here except for Lori Fritch's diligent detective work who tracked us down, and we want to thank her, and all of the women and men that are working for you. If you haven't been to the museum, you need to go visit because they have great tags on everything. You can find out a lot of your history because you live here. We are very thankful that he is being recognized because he wasn't recognized for a lot of things. And I am wearing his wife's pin tonight because I thought Sally should be here. So thank you all.
I'm Candace Marshall, again, my sister just said. He was my great-grandfather, and it's wonderful to be here to actually be able to hands-on the history of his life because we didn't know what it was until just about when he died. Thank you.
Well, ladies, thank you for being here this evening. And we have one other special presentation. I'd like to call up Diana Escalante, who is the principal of E.J. Marshall.
Yes, we will. I don't want to stab you with this.
Hello. Oh, it is such a privilege to be here. It's my first year as principal at E.J. Marshall Elementary, and when I was notified about this, I'm just excited, and I think this is such a privilege and a unique experience. So thank you so much for allowing me to be part on behalf of E.J. Marshall and hearing his legacy and so much that he's done for our city. My hope is that we continue doing that at our school and continue serving the people of Chino. So thank you.
We're also going to be sending you a copy of this to hang in the school as well. You know, it's amazing to me that the principals look young enough to be high school students. I don't know. Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. We rarely have this many family members, and you did a great job, Lori. I ended up finding all of these people. One of the cute stories is one of the ladies, when she got the email, it said, you know, if kind of summarizing, if you're the person that I'm looking for, you know, please respond. If not, you know, I apologize. It's like, is this a spam or what? Well, thank goodness that they answered. And again, it's a pleasure to have everybody here, those that traveled from Washington, especially Barbara, 91. Barbara was not going to make any more trips, but when she got the invitation to this, she decided that she couldn't resist. And thanks to her sons for bringing her down. So special. Now, on Sunday, May 20th, this Sunday, the 93rd Annual Pioneer Picnic will be held at our community building, and that's on 10th and B. This event is a great time when all members of our community can come together with our pioneer families for a day of fellowship and reconnecting with old friends. Each of the award winners will be recognized at the picnic, and the awards will be proudly displayed at the building. So I'd like to invite all of you to be there. This is going to be a very special Sunday. And again, thank you to all the family members that came. Chino would not be the great place that it is today if it weren't for our founding fathers and those that came to Chino. You established, your family members established a community that was close and that cared for each other. And we're very blessed that that has continued on into today. So thank you again for being here. Okay, next item on the agenda is public communications. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. We cannot take action on an item that's not on the agenda, but we'd be proud and glad to hear your concerns. Our first request to speak this evening is Mr. Chris May from the Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. I'd like to invite all of those who wish to participate to please stand and join us in an invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you, Father, just again for this city. Father, for the grace and the mercy that you've poured out upon all those who reside here and in this area, dear God. Father, we thank you for the leadership that you've given us in the city council and the mayor. Father, we thank you, Father, for the public servants we've got and first responders and police and fire. Father, for the emergency medical technicians. Father, again, we thank you, Father, for all those that you've placed in positions of responsibility. And we pray, Father, that you would give them your wisdom, your discernment, Father, that the decisions that are made would be right in your eyes. And we again thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we have several requests to speak. The first, we're going to recognize Jeff and Darlene Vanden Heuvel, longtime community members.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, this is my wife Darlene and I'm Jeff, and I moved here in 1975. My dad took the call to be the pastor of the church on Riverside Drive between Magnolia and Mountain. I was 15 years old at the time. Darlene came here in a long time ago. And
Wise man.
and we went to high school together, and then we got married and started in the dairy business. And we started in Chino in 1979, August 1. And the reason we're here now is because our cows are moving off the dairy. I wanted to shut the lights off in Chino. I thought maybe I could stay a little bit longer, but I think that when my cows are gone by the end of the week, there'll be one producing dairy left in the city of Chino. There's another dairy that might get repopulated for a short time yet on Pine, I believe, but next week there'll be one dairy producing milk in Chino, which is an amazing thing to contemplate. The dairy industry. So I'm here really to say goodbye to a wonderful town that has been so supportive, and what a privilege to be here on a night when, you know, our pioneer families are recognized, and you can see those roots in agriculture, and the dairy industry found a welcoming place here. And so we wanted to thank the town. My father-in-law, Martin and Leona Verhoeven, Darlene's parents, will be leaving with us. We're going to move up to Tulare. And they've been at the corner of San Antonio and Fern, Eucalyptus, San Antonio and Eucalyptus since the 1960s. They built houses around them, but they stayed in the house, and they'll be moving out here in the next couple of weeks as well. So we're kind of shutting the lights off of the dairy industry, but wanted to say thanks and say goodbye. We've appreciated Chino. It's been our home. It's been a wonderful place to raise children. It's a wonderful place for the industry. Someday somebody ought to make a study of what part of the American dairy industry has its roots back in Chino. It's a very large portion. We were the dairy capital, literally, of the world for about 30 years, and developed a lot of the modern techniques here, and sent that out. And so, as we kind of fade away, we didn't want to leave without saying thanks and goodbye.
Well, thank you. Your family's been here a long time, and it's having grown up in this area and seen the dairies and been able to drive through them every Sunday, and the dairy tour that we used to have at Nick Van Fleet's and several other people's. It's sad to see it go, but we wish you well. How many grandkids do you have now?
11.
Oh, you caught up. Oh, got it. Caught up with us.
11 grandkids. So.
Well, congratulations, and we pray that your future will be very blessed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your
Thank you.
contributions.
Thanks.
Okay, one written request is for the consent calendar, item number 7, so we will call on that one last. The next ones, I think, are going to be a little lengthy. So what I'd like to do is break tradition, and we have some students in the audience this evening, and we have a tradition of calling them up and having them introduce themselves, give us the school that you attend, your teacher, and your class. So, and then we'll be calling up Troop 207, we'll be recognizing them next. So students who are here, come on. Only a few this evening.
School's almost out.
Yeah, it's almost out. Okay, up to the lectern.
I'm Tyler, and this is Kat. We're from Ontario Christian High School. Our teacher's name is Mr. Zeideman, and it's for our government class.
Now you're cheating, you're ganging up there. You're each supposed to say your names.
I'm Kat. Our teacher is Mr. Zeidema. We go to Ontario Christian.
And your last name?
Kat Jaime.
Okay.
And we take a Gov class.
Yeah, I'm Xiang Hu from the same school as them. So from Ontario Christian High School. Our teacher is Mr. Zeidema, and I'm doing this for AP Government.
Hi, my name is Dylan Esslinger. I'm from Upland High School, and this is for my government class with Ms. Klein.
Oh, Upland High, welcome. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Isabel Pineda. I go to Don Lugo High School, and I'm doing this for Mr. Pope's government class. So.
Hi, I'm Valeria Sabeto Guerrero, and I go to Don Lugo High School, and this is for Mr. Pope's government class.
Okay, thank you. Now we have some members of Troop 207 here. If you'd like to come forward, please, and introduce yourselves and say why you're here. See, we have them come up to the microphone so there's proof they were here.
Hi, my name is Mario Bolin, and I'm here for Citizenship of the Community Merit Badge.
Hello, my name is Omar Tapia, and I'm here for the Citizenship of Community Merit Badge.
Hi, my name is Stephen Partita, and I'm here for Citizenship of the Community.
Hi, I'm Hector, and I'm here for the Citizen of the Community.
What's your last name, Hector?
Lepe.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Winfield, and I'm here for Citizenship of the Community Merit Badge.
Okay, welcome this evening. Okay, we have 3 more written requests to speak. The first is Jay Burke.
Good evening, thank you. As a security guard contractor in California and Nevada, particularly Las Vegas, I'm acutely aware of the problems associated, probably more so than the general public, with vagrants, homeless, transients, whatever title you want to give them. And obviously through news media, we're learning more and more about these problems. San Diego, Santa Ana, Anaheim, Ventura, just to name a few. What is the city's position, strategy, along with law enforcement, moving forward and handling this increase in what myself and my community of friends here in Chino have seen a significant increase in the vagrant, transient, homeless population. It extends, into health, property, crimes against people, crimes against property, lots of different variable losses. So wanted to, I know it's not on the agenda, but I was hoping that the council and the police department at some point could give citizens some idea of the strategy that might be going, moving forward in dealing with the transients.
Sure, we can make sure that there's a report at the next council meeting, but we do have several organizations that are forming a coalition to work on homelessness.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Next is Carol Houghton.
Hello. Well, council, I'm back.
So are we.
Oh, no. Good evening, City Council. I'm here to continue our unilateral bi-monthly conversation. Mayor, I appreciated last time that you responded to our concern over the sanctuary city laws, especially since I know they're really not supposed to. It's not supposed to talk back and forth. And it sort of seemed to be something of a prepared statement, so I am going to assume from that you all have discussed this before. And as we know, we already agree that federal law should trump state law, and of course, that doesn't change my purpose here. And I believe you when you say that all criminals, regardless of citizenship, are arrested. But we're not talking about our police department failing to arrest illegal immigrant criminals. That's about two other things. What happens to them when they're released? And two, given that most crimes do not result in arrest, let's think, how many crimes have each of these criminals committed before our police catches them? How many others have been victimized? They don't seem very... They might have committed crimes in Ontario, got released there, and come out here. We don't really know. Now, Sacramento doesn't seem too concerned with public safety. That's why we've had an accumulative effect of SB 54, AB 109, Proposition 47 and 57. And the state is not going to stop this nonsense unless we demand it. This is a special opportunity because critical mass has been reached. It's truly a grassroots movement that is happening. Now, the last time I read all 21 cities that opted out, and I'm not going to do that this time because now there's 35 cities, and I'll just show them to you. Instead of 4 counties, we now have 9, which is to make note of. There's a reason that this is resonating across our state, and the more of us that stand up, the more likely we are to be heard. Again, I'm going to ask you, please, to put this on the agenda. Now, we only have 3 minutes, so next time I will tell you about your 4 legal options about how to make this happen in the city of Chino, because I know you can't wait. 3 more weeks. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. Next written request to speak is Jason, is it Tulai? Tulai. I never say it right.
Members of City Council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Jason Tulai. I was present before you 2 weeks ago, asking you to put on your agenda a vote to reject the sanctuary state laws, SB 450, SB 54, and AB 103. Mayor, appreciate the fact that after several speakers addressed the council in opposition to these laws, you addressed our concerns. You said there exists a conflict between federal and state laws, with the federal law taking precedence. You went on to say that since the conflict exists, Chino would wait as the federal and state governments work it out first before taking action. This is hypocritical. You said that federal law takes precedence over state law, and then you chose not to act. Of the 3 sanctuary state laws, SB 54 is the most dangerous, as it prevents law enforcement from providing information to federal authorities about the release date of undocumented immigrants who are in their custody, and bans the transfer of these criminal immigrants to federal custody. Again, these are not dreamers, these are criminals. I'm here to plead that you do what at least 35 other cities and 9 counties throughout California have already done, to put on your agenda a vote to reject the California sanctuary state laws. A simple resolution in opposition has no legal risk, as the least that you should do. I challenge each member of the City Council that you have no greater responsibility to the members of this community than to act accordingly and protect the safety of your citizens. I further submit that your inaction in this matter is tantamount to complicity in jeopardizing the safety of the citizens, our law enforcement servants that you represent. Protect us. Protect our law enforcement, and selfishly protect your chances to be reelected. Put this matter on the agenda and vote to reject the sanctuary state laws. If you're not going to put this issue on the agenda for a vote to protect the people, I believe the citizens of Chino at least have a right to know where you stand individually on the sanctuary state laws. We should know how to vote and possibly who to recall. I know that you're under no obligation to respond, but I will ask you, where do you stand in support or opposition to the sanctuary state laws? Mayor?
Thank you, Jason. And as you know, we can't take action.
Mayor Pro Tem? Any other council members?
May I finish, please? Any council member is free to state anything that they want. We have a section on our agenda for mayor and council reports. We cannot, as a group, talk about anything because it's a violation of the Brown Act unless it's at this dais. And there has been no request from any council member to put this item on the agenda.
Very good. Duly noted. I guess you have again chosen politics over leadership and the protection of the people of this community. Thank you.
That I would argue with. We support our police department 100%, as you know. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the city council on any item that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will move on then to the consent calendar. We are going to be pulling item number 7 because we have a written request to speak on that item. Do any council members wish to have any other items pulled?
Item number 9, please.
And item number 9 for
Just for
councilman.
comment.
For comment, okay. Okay, then I would entertain a motion on the balance of the consent calendar. Okay, there's a motion from Councilman George, second from Councilman Elrod, and the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 7 is a request to terminate a contract for default, the Chino Avenue Storm Drain Project. I will ask for a brief staff report from Jesus. Are you here this evening, Jesus? Or Jose? Jose, can you give us a brief report, please?
I'd be happy to. Yes, I'm back, so Jesus was helping me out during my absence. But this project is for the Chino Avenue Storm Drain, and it goes from Oaks to Benson and connects to an existing system. A 60-inch diameter storm drain was connected. There was concrete work involved on the curbs and gutters in the vicinity on the north side of Chino Avenue. We constructed new wheelchair ramps on that were necessary, because once those were done, then we were going to move right in and do the paving of the road once the storm drain itself was installed. The contract was awarded in October of 2016, and then on April of 2017, the notice to proceed was issued. The reason for that lag time is because during, once the contract is awarded, we certainly recognize that the contractor has to review the plans and to get the materials required. A 60-inch diameter pipe isn't sitting on a shelf, so they have to order the material. They got to make sure the city's okay with the material, and it takes time to get all that in place. Once the communications occur between the city and the contractor, then we issue the notice to proceed so that then the clock starts ticking. You have, in this case, 60 working days in which to finish the job. And, looking at that job, it should have been finished several months ago in 2017, but there were some design issues that were communicated to the contractor. We worked with them while those were resolved. Those, again, were presented to council at the appropriate time in 2017. They've been resolved, and then the project itself of the installation of the storm drain was completed. And that was the only phase, along with the concrete work that has been done to date. What's remaining to be done now is the paving of the streets, Chino Avenue and some of the surrounding areas. And that is where this issue remains for the city. Here we are, May of 2018, and the job is still not complete. What we started doing with the contractor is towards the end of 2017, early 2018, we communicated. We established that, two things needed to occur. A traffic control plan needed to be reviewed and approved by the city, so the contractor had to submit this to us for the paving portion. The city had, I just want to back up a second. The city had provided a traffic control plan, which is sheet 7 of 7. They allude to that in the documentation before you. We provided that traffic control plan, but that was only for the installation of the storm drain. the specifications are clear, you need to provide this, and then the paving, we can issue the notice to proceed for the paving. The traffic control plan has not been produced, and we still don't have it today. In our meetings, we communicated January 31st is when we expect both of these items to be completed. We sent out emails with documenting the meetings that we had with the contractor. They did not respond in January. We then reached out again to the contractor and set a new date for the work to be done, which was, I want to say April 12th. Excuse me a minute. It was, I'm sorry, March 12th, and it still was not completed. We then engaged with our city attorney and got a little more forceful and sent another letter with a notice to cure the problem, and it still hasn't been cured to date. The whole misunderstanding with the contractor and staff is this sheet 7 of 7, the traffic control plan, which is the one that we provided. That is not applicable for a paving project. It's only for the installation of this large diameter pipe, which basically it closes, and Councilman George, I know, drove the area, he drove it quite a bit, closes the northbound, or the north side of the street, allowing traffic to flow 2 ways on the south side, while this large pipe is being installed in the ground. That plan is not applicable for a paving job. You have to start flopping traffic back and forth. City did not dictate how that's gonna go because they generally sub that work out. And that's why the plans were prepared in that fashion. So we don't have the plan. We don't have the paving done. We have reached out to the contractor several times. Our city attorney was involved in some of the meetings with the contractor present. And upon my return, this came to my attention. I looked at it and I looked at the process that the city followed with our city attorney and city staff to get to this point, to form that recommendation before you today. And our recommendation still stands because with cities, our project manager and our city attorney, a representative from our city attorney's office, it was clear to me that the proper process was followed for us to stand by this recommendation before you tonight.
Thank you, Jose. Our request to speak this evening is from John Resek. He's an attorney for Young and Associates Incorporated.
Good evening, Honorary Mayor and Council. My name is John Rasek. I am the president of Young and Associates. And I'm asking if the council received the letter we sent on May the 10th. We sent a letter to each of the board members, council members, excuse me.
Does anybody acknowledge receiving that letter?
I know staff has received it, and my office has as well.
If not, can I proceed and read the letter?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Or 5 minutes. You have 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
On April the 10th, Young and Associates sent a letter to the City Council requesting a change order to provide a different traffic control plan than what is specified in the contract. The city did not respond to Young and Associates' letter. Then on April 16, 2018, the city sent a letter to Young and Associates requesting that Young and Associates perform the grind and overlay work, and Young and Associates has failed to provide a complete traffic control plan for the grind and pave overlay within 5 days of the city terminating contract. The contract is very clear on traffic control plan. The city's contract states for work of bid item number 8 and number 9, uniform grind and overlay, cap section 7-2.2 of the special provision, section C, specifically and clearly states, the contractor will be required to use traffic control plans provided on sheet 7 of 7 and modify the traffic control plan to provide 1 lane in each direction on either side of the work area. The city is verbally requesting that Young and Associates provide a revised traffic control plan for the grind and overlay work. This revised traffic control plan is a change in the contract work as specified in section 3, changes in work. The city is not providing a change order the city is not complying with the requirements of the contract. After adding a different traffic control plan for the uniform grind and overlay cap the work of the traffic control plan specified in section 7-10 2.2 is a change in the contract. As soon as the city provides a change order for a different traffic control plan as required by the city's contract, the city provides a change order control plan. Young Associates will proceed in completing the work. Regarding Young and Associates as disregarded written instructions from the engineer, this is a completely untrue statement. The city has not provided a letter or a change order regarding this change to the contract. Young and Associates is following the requirements of the contract. The city has failed to comply with the terms and conditions of the contract as follows. The city failed to provide a traffic control plan for the grind and overlay work of the contract. The city failed to provide a change order for traffic control plan for the grind and pave overlay for the contract. The city failed to provide any written requirements for a grind and overlay work traffic control plan. Therefore, the city is in violation of the specific terms of the contract. The city should be aware of the surety companies may not reimburse the city for fraudulent claims, and the city may be liable for not only the surety company's loss, but for the contractor's cost by failure of the city to perform its requirement of the contract. Please be advised the Young and Associates has been incurring delay costs caused by the city delay and expects reimbursement for such costs. It is estimated that Young and Associates' daily costs may exceed $500 per day. Gentlemen, Councilman, we are prepared to provide and complete this work. There's only 1% left of the contract, and we presently have a contractor under contract to perform this work. I thank you for your time.
Mr. Galante.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. With all due respect to the speaker, we disagree that this is subject to the change order requirements. We have, as Mr. O'Leary confirmed, met with the representatives of the contractor, informed them of the obligation to provide this traffic control plan. The issue of a change order never came up during those discussions. It was not until this letter was provided to us that this issue came up for the first time. There was no issue of any agreement to prepare the plan under protest or any reservation of their rights to raise this issue. They agreed to the extended timeline to provide the traffic control plan in more than one occasion and just never provided it, as Mr. O'Leary explained. So at that point, after actually meeting with the representatives and not confirming our lack of receipt of these plans, we proceeded pursuant to the Green Book and providing the notice of termination with the appropriate time to cure the default. That cure never occurred, as Mr. O'Leary also confirmed. So we believe the termination is appropriate for all those reasons.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Galante. Comments from council members? Mr. George?
Well, I had a number of comments until this went back and forth here. It's kind of superfluous right now. But just as a comment, the condition of Chino Avenue has been abhorrent since between Oaks and Benson. And it's been going on for so long. It's even when you were working on it and it was flip flopped on one lane. It was laid out so poorly. Most people were driving the wrong way. So I think this is I think this is has been a problem for way too long.
Okay, thank you, Mr. George. Any other comments from council? No. Okay, then a motion would be appropriate to terminate the contract for default. Staff's recommendation. Motion from Councilman George, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, and the item passes unanimously. Item number 9, Councilman George, you asked to have that pulled. It's an award of contract landscape maintenance for medians and reservoir sites. Did you wish to have a staff report?
No, just a comment.
Okay.
I noticed that CLS is on this item, and I've been watching CLS since they've been working in the city, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. I see them, all over, and every area that I see has been really well maintained and really well taken care of, and I believe that CLS is a Chino company, is that correct? And I just think this is, that we need to award this contract to them.
Okay, contract is for $47,904.60. Staff recommendation is to approve it. Is there a motion? Motion from Councilman Elrod, second from Councilman George. And that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 13, award of contract purchase of bulk salt. Our staff report this evening will be provided by our associate engineer, Amanda Coker. You might want to explain why we need bulk salt.
I will. Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The city utilizes salt at its water treatment facilities to remove contaminants from groundwater produced by city wells. The city's current contract for the purchase of bulk salt expires on June 30th, 2018. On March 13th, 2018, the city formally published a notice inviting bids with the Chino Champion and On Planet bids. 2 bids were received with Morton Salt as the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. Staff recommends that the City Council award a contract to Morton Salt in an amount not to exceed $500,000 for the purchase of bulk salt. That concludes my presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Amanda. Any questions?
Yes.
Gary?
$500,000 for salt? Is that normal? Or that just seems outrageous.
And that is correct. Our previous contract was for $600,000.
Oh, great.
And
Thanks
so
for
we're
bringing it
actually
down.
reducing that.
I guess when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Leave it to Gary. Yes, Tom? Oh, good grief.
Good one, Gary. He's been saving that up for months, I guarantee you that. So yeah, I think I have like 3 salt shakers full at home. I'd be glad to donate that to the city. So how big is the bulk salt? Does it come, how big is it? I mean, what does it look like?
Is it rock salt or just regular salt?
I'm not sure what it looks like. I think they do provide us a sample, so I would be happy to provide it to the council if you'd like.
To the next council meeting, please. Okay.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Any other comment, questions?
Where do you get all the salt?
From Morton.
Look, good answer. Location, Utah?
I believe the company is located in Illinois, but I'm not sure if they ship it from there.
Okay. It is needed for the water treatment plant. We know that. Okay. Is there a motion for approval? Oh, my goodness. Motion from Councilman George, second from Councilman Elrod. The item passes unanimously. And you can donate all the salt, yeah. Give it to Amanda.
Okay.
Item number 14, award of contract police vehicles, specific equipment installation and maintenance. And our staff report this evening will be by our Public Works Services Manager, Dave McAbee.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Fleet Division of the Public Works Department is responsible for overseeing the purchase, installation, general repairs, and routine maintenance of police vehicle-specific aftermarket equipment for both existing and new vehicles. Currently, 10-8 retrofit of Ontario, California provides for the actual installation, maintenance, and repair of this type of equipment for our police fleet. The current contract with 10-8 is set to expire on June 30th, 2018. Specifications were prepared, and on April 3rd, 2018, a request for proposal was released and published on Planet Bids. On April 17th, 2018, the city received 1 sealed proposal from 10-8 Retrofit of Ontario, California. 10-8 provided all the required documentation and is deemed to be a responsive and responsible proposer. Additionally, their pricing from the RFP compared to the pricing of the previous year is lower overall. Therefore, staff recommends awarding a contract to 10-8 Retrofit Incorporated. Based on the estimates provided in the RFP by 10-8 Retrofit, staff is requesting council approve a contract in the amount of $174,500 for the outfitting of new vehicles projected to be purchased during fiscal year 2018-19. Staff is also requesting authorization to spend up to $30,000 for general repairs and maintenance of existing police vehicles for a total contract cost not to exceed $204,500. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dave. Questions or comments on the item? Okay, then I would entertain a motion. Motion from Councilman Elrod, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Item passes unanimously. Those are all the business items this evening. Next is Mayor and Council reports. First, for all our parents out there, please be sure not to miss the newest installation of our garden workshops and children's discovery workshops happening this Saturday, May 19th at the Chino Community Garden located at 5976 Riverside Drive. With the garden workshop pest control practices starting at 8:30 a.m. and children's discovery workshops bugging out with bugs starting out at 10. These events provide tips on safe pesticide practices while explaining the importance that bugs play in our garden ecosystems. Both events are free, but space is limited, so please make sure you register early. For more information, please call Healthy Chino at 909-334-3478. On the same day, we're having our annual Bike Day from 7:30 to 11 at Ayala Park, located at 5575 Edison Avenue. Here, all participants can join in on a 15-mile community bike ride, a 6-mile family bike ride, attend a bike safety workshop, attempt obstacle courses, and much more. For more information, please call Healthy Chino again at 909-334-3478. Also, I wanted to offer my congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Howie. Today marks his 17th year on the City Council. During his time on the council, the city has progressed and accomplished many goals. These feats reflect the leadership and vision this council and Mayor Pro Tem Howie have consistently displayed. As such, I'd like to congratulate Mayor Pro Tem Howie on his great accomplishment and for his continued work to promote this city and serve the residents of Chino.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Tom. And lastly, the American Legion Post 299 will host a Memorial Day event at the community building located at 5443 B Street beginning at 10 a.m. The community is invited to pay tribute to all of those who give or have given the ultimate sacrifice for freedoms we enjoy. Additionally, in observation of Memorial Day, City Hall will be closed on Monday, the 28th. City Hall will reopen the following day at its regular operating hours from 7:30 to 5:30. And of course, the Pioneer Picnic is coming up this Sunday. Let's see, for the last 2 weeks, there were quite a few things that were going on. On Wednesday the 2nd, I attended Omnitrans and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Board of Directors. On Thursday the 3rd, there was the 2018 Peace Officer Memorial held at the Chino Police Department. It was a very, very touching ceremony, and I wish more of the public had been there. But there were representatives from every police agency in San Bernardino County. Our own staff, our own police department had put together photography display of officers that had passed along with their names, and there was a beautiful program that listed all the names of the officers that have passed. Captain Wes Simmons and Lieutenant Brian Cobble did an amazing job with the presentation. A couple of officers from each department went forward to the replica of the memorial and placed white gloves on it in memory of those that had passed. There was a missing man flyover with helicopters, which I had never seen before. That was very, very touching. And then, of course, they let loose white doves, which is a symbolism. It was beautifully, beautifully done. Police department just did an excellent job. I was very, very proud of them. That same day, which was very fitting, was also the National Day of Prayer. That was held here at our City Hall lawn. And there was more people in attendance this year than I ever remember in the past, so that was very nice. Then afternoon, I was able to attend the IEUA Sewage Policy Committee. I know Earl misses that committee. And then that night, Seroptimist had their very, very nice event where they help ladies who have been in domestic violence situations, and they give them, it was just, yeah, it was really nice, Tom. Karen did a really good job with that. The stories of these gals and what they've lived through, and now they're benefiting from Seroptimist's help is just, it's amazing, amazing. And then let's see, Friday, I attended the Senior Center's birthday celebration, and then that afternoon, forgot all my notes on who was in attendance, so Matt, I hope you can give a synopsis of it, but City Manager Matt Ballantyne, Chief of Police Karen Comstock, Councilman George, we met at CIM at the warden's office. Secretary Kernan was supposed to be there, and he did not show. He sent a couple of his staff members. So we were very disappointed in that. He could have let us know, and we could have rescheduled the meeting, because this is not the first time that he hasn't shown. But as many of you know, CIM is planning to add a 50-bed mental hospital. And it isn't, it's for severely affected prisoners. Now, that facility is in grave disrepair. It's one of the oldest prisons in the state of California. And instead of putting money forward to revitalize that institution, so to speak, they want to build a brand new hospital there. The old institution isn't even on the sewer system. They're still using septic tanks, which I find open ponds, which I find absolutely shocking, because we're under court order. The water master's under court order to clean up this groundwater basin, and has spent millions of dollars putting in pumps and treatment facilities to pull up the polluted water and clean it. And yet the state has two actual facilities here that are in terrible condition and are actually helping to pollute, or not helping, but adding to the pollution of this groundwater basin. Anyway, we very, very strongly feel that they need to renovate that facility before ever thinking about adding new facilities to it. So there's going to be a public hearing. There will be a notice, and it's our intention to publicize that and hope that the citizens show up and help us in protesting the expansion of the mental ward. Okay, then there was the big Chino car show and air show on Saturday. So we were at the car show part, but we could watch at a distance for the air show. That just always turns out very, very nice. On the 8th, we had the State of the City address. And I think it just turned out fabulous. Our staff did a great job of setting it up, decorations, coordinating everything. It sold out, I think it was 2 weeks ahead of time. We've never had that many sponsors before, table sponsors, and staff really had to scramble to try to figure out how to fit in 48 people that were on the waiting list to get into it. So that was nice, and it was a relief that when it was done. On the 9th, there was the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast held in the morning. I can't read my own writing. And then later in the morning was the Prado Basin Habitat Sustainability Committee at Watermaster. Let's see, on the 10th was the appropriative pool. And then we had our budget workshop in the afternoon. That was on Thursday the 10th. And it was a 2-hour-long budget workshop, the longest I remember us ever having. But I think it was very, very well done. Very thorough. Council had a lot of different questions about stuff. Really proud of the effort that staff puts in to going over the budget and figuring out where we stand financially. And I'm pleased to announce that this past year, current year that we're in, we had projected a deficit. And in fact, it turned around, and now we're in the black. So that's very, very good, and it's a compliment to the community. Gosh, and then Corporate Challenge, I did not attend it, but the Corporate Challenge closing ceremonies were Friday night. And that's all I have this evening, I think. You know what, I didn't bring my notes, so you can announce it, right? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Howie, plus I believe you also have item number 15 for the Community Support Fund, if you'd like to report on that and ask for action.
Okay, yeah, let me start with the Community Support Fund, then I'll go into my regular comments. So I'm asking for contributions to various community and youth organizations. I have a request for four: the Kiwanis Club, the Chino Cultural Foundation, the Neighborhood House, and the Chino Valley YMCA. So I'm asking for approval there, so.
Okay, there's a motion from Councilman George, second by myself. And if everyone would please vote. Okay, item number 15 passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll go into my regular report. So thank you. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 17 years ago tonight. That was my first city council meeting, and boy, I was a lot younger in those days. I got to remember that. But it's amazing how much the city has grown and how well we've done. I know our reserves are much higher than they were before, and we've been frugal, and yet we've had tremendous growth in the way of shopping and as far as our parks and all the different things that we have. So it's been a great 17 years. Some of the things I attended, you know how, remember when the Avis rent-a-car business used to say they were always second best? I mean, you know, they were, I think Hertz was number one, Avis was always second. So during the corporate challenge, I played golf with the city manager, Matt Ballantyne, and I think we've taken over the Avis title, because I think in the last 6 years, we've come in second 5 times. That we just can't get over the hump and win the gold medal, so we get the silver medal. But we did it again this year, so hey, nothing wrong with the silver medal. I do know that the city of Chino did prevail this year in the corporate challenge and did win, became the overall winner again. And
terrific.
that's pretty fantastic, because there are a number of different organizations that compete, and there's a lot of competition in the corporate challenge for 2 weeks. It's very competitive, let's put it that way. So with that, congratulations on the corporate challenge. And then I attended a Water Facilities Authority and a CDA, the Chino DeSalter Authority, those 2 water meetings on May 3rd. The Chino Air Show again, I don't know what happens. It just seems like every year, a day before, it's 75 degrees, and the day of the air show, it gets to 95 or 98. So it was really hot. I know Fire was telling me they had 14 people they had to that went to the hospital, I believe, with heat exhaustion. But you know, I think they said there was like 10,000 people out there on Saturday. I was only there Saturday, but it's so great to see those old warbirds fly from World War II, and it's quite a show. It was pretty cool because they had probably 15 or 20 guys parachute out of an old plane in the beginning. And you can see, and they're paratroopers, and they all floated down to start the air show. That was really, I thought that was really cool. So that was really neat. And then State of the City Mayor did a great job as usual. It's kind of fun to talk about our accomplishments. Sold out, and like another great day. And then last but not least, the San Bernardino County Transit Authority study session I attended on the 9th, talking about our local transportation projects. And so that's it. Thank you very much again.
You're welcome. Councilman Elrod, you have item number 6, which is also the Community Support Fund.
Yes, I'd like to.
16, I mean, sorry. Yeah.
I'd like to donate to the Red Bucket Horse Rescue. I've done that in the past, and also the Bass Club.
Okay. Let's see. We have a motion from Councilman George, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie, and that item passes unanimously. Okay, your report?
Yes, I wanted to comment on the police function that we went to. They really did a great job on that, and it was impressive to see how much work it actually is, you know, and then the flyby was unbelievable. And they did a great job on that. I want to thank the police department and staff, because that was a lot of work, put a lot of time into it. Then the State of the City, I think, was a great success. We changed it up a little bit, our staff did, that we met in the courtyard. I thought that was a lot better than everybody balling up right at that entrance to it. So that went very well attended, Mayor. I mean, it was a good day.
It was.
My last one.
Oh, that's right, your last one. Unless you come back
I'm
and
gonna
visit
miss
like
it.
Dennis did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can count on that. But that concludes my report.
Councilman George?
Thank you. On May the 2nd, I attended the fire department's promotion event, and that was really well done too. I enjoyed being there. On the 3rd, as you know, I'm going to echo the Chino Police Department hosted the Peace Officers Memorial, and just it was. I mean, I was blown away. I was tearing up because of the flyover, the doves, the white gloves. I've never seen anything like that, and it was really well done. And then drove down the street here and for the National Day of Prayer, and was on the City Hall lawn when that took place. On the 4th, the public hearing. The CIM meeting, as Mayor Ulloa talked about. It was. I think that the state got the message about how we feel about the facility, the proposed mental health facility, and the fact that that money should be for the infrastructure to take care of the prison before they even consider putting a mental health facility on there to make sure that it's safe to even have it there. The only positive, and we'll find out if it's real or not, is that Under Secretary Ralph Diaz that was representing Secretary Kernan, did say that there will be a public hearing, and it's supposed to be sometime between now and July. So, and we will let everybody know when that public hearing is going to be, if indeed it's going, it happens. That's, to me, that was the most positive thing that came out of that meeting. Then on the 5th, the air show, and as Tom said, it was extremely hot, and I was like down for the rest of the day practically. Then on the 8th, the State of the City luncheon. It was great, really well done. Enjoyed that. On the 10th, the budget workshop, and then on the 11th, attended Supervisor Kurt Hagman's meet and greet at the Howies. And that's my report.
You know, one thing that was very disheartening to me at that meeting at CIM was, even though they listened to us, in essence, they just said it's a done deal. It's going to happen, regardless of what we say.
Well, I hope they do have that public hearing, because I think they'll hear more.
So do I. So do I. Councilman Rodriguez, you also have item number 17, which is Community Support Fund.
Yes, at this time I would like to recommend that we designate funds to the following outstanding organizations who have contributed quite a bit to the community over the years. Chino Neighborhood House, Chino Youth Museum, Chino Boxing Foundation, Boy Scout Troop 207, and Chino Basque Club, who will be celebrating their 50th anniversary sometime during Labor Day, and this will help them in their billing for security on the parade. Okay.
Just also want to note the amounts. It's $250 for the neighborhood house, $250 for the Chino Youth Museum. It's $325 for the Chino Boxing Foundation, $425 for the Boy Scout Troop, and $2,500 for the Chino Basque Club.
Okay, Angela, we need to have a motion, and okay, is there a motion for approval? I'm going to ask him. Motion from Councilman Elrod, second from Mayor Pro Tem Howie. That item passes unanimously. Do we need to go back to item number 15 and 16 and read the amounts as well?
No, those are reflected on the record. This was a change.
It was a
as far as
change.
the amounts.
Okay.
Yes, so you're
All
good.
right. Okay, your report, Mr. Rodriguez.
On May 3rd and 4th, I attended the SCAG Annual Regional and General Assembly Conference in Palm Desert. I'm a member of the Community Economics and Human Development panel. There were over 1,200 members that attended over the 2 days, and there was a lot of initiatives and discussions on Senate Bill 1, which is infrastructure funding support, and also on the housing shortage crisis that we have in Southern California and throughout the nation. May 4th through the 5th, I also attended the air show, and I noted that, and I was told there was well over 10,000 people. And it was quite a show. It was very, very nice. I was fortunate enough to also meet a World War II veteran. I believe he had told me he was like 98 years old. So it was quite a pleasure to be able to take a photo with him and also to reminisce with his stories that he told me. On May 7th, I attended a Boy Scout meeting and spoke to the Scoutmaster concerning the attendance of a citizen badge for tonight. May 8th, great showing at the State of the City. Very festive. My first attendance at a festival like this, and it was very informative. I really enjoyed everything there. May 10th, here again, like all of us, I attended the city review of the budget, and we are moving forward in a very positive way. And all departments have done a tremendous job in being able to use their funding in a correct way and in a positive way that's going to serve the entire community of the city of Chino. In preparation for the citizen badge, I did meet briefly with the Scoutmaster on the 14th of May. Also, on that same day, Monday, which was yesterday, I attended also the Cultural Foundation meeting, which we went over the budget and any upcoming events that they have prepared. They will be dark on in August and also July and August, excuse me. So this Sunday, special announcement that I will not be able to attend the Pioneer Picnic. Our youngest son, Alex, will be graduating from School of Law from Loyola University. Prior to School of Law, he graduated from Cornell University and also from Damien High School, and did complete his Eagle Scout badge and was also head of a fraternity. He's 25 years old, so he has quite a future, hopefully. Oh, and he will be working with a firm this summer, as he did last summer, concerning ADA, American Disabilities Act. And just information that my wife retired in December with 25 years of working as a special ed teacher for the Pomona Unified School District. And in my past, or maybe in my semi-past, I oversaw as an administrator all IEPs and also evaluated special ed teachers on a yearly basis. So thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, City Manager Ballantyne.
Yes, I think the mayor and Councilmember George did an eloquent job of covering the meeting that we had with the CIM, the men's prison, and they made it abundantly clear that we're not satisfied with their response. The only other thing I would note on that is Assemblymember Freddie Rodriguez is proposing a bill. It's Assembly Bill 2028, which requires audits of prisons. So that's kind of working its way through the legislature. The only other item I have is was related to Corporate Challenge. I certainly want to thank all the businesses that participated. It was a great opportunity to network and meet other businesses that work within our community, and I'm also proud of our employees for beating Chino Hills. That concludes my report.
Okay, City Attorney's report, Mr. Galante.
Just wanted to say the State of the City event was fantastic. It was really an enjoyable time. That's all I have.
Okay, Karen Comstock is not here this evening, but we have Captain Keith Bassard. No report? Kai, it's your time to shine. And we have Mr. Atkinson, Battalion Chief, right? Deputy Chief, sorry about that.
So first off, thank you for having me up tonight. First, I'd like to recognize the police department's National Police Week, and we just want to thank them for all their support and our collaboration and how well we work with them. So I'd just like to give them a hand. Next, the annual car and bike show that the professional firefighters of Chino put on is this weekend at 10 o'clock. It's down at the shops, and all proceeds will go to the Fire Foundation. They'll raise money. Also, just to let you know that we started doing all the weed inspections that started on May 15th, which is today. And so they're out looking at all the parcels in our district, at 49,000 different parcels within the district, to make sure everybody is compliant with the weed control. Also, 10 new firefighters will be starting on May 29th. They'll start a 5-week academy, and then they'll be on the floor in late June. Just to give you some information on the air show, we did transport 14 patients, but we saw 46. So it was one of the busiest times that we've had at the air show as far as the fire department goes. Obviously, the heat was a big part of that. We are creating an after-action review to hopefully present to the administrators of the air show to see if there's some things that we could do for next year that could help improve some of those numbers go down, because obviously heat played a huge factor in that. Just let the Tim Shalkert, our fire chief, was also at that prison meeting on that date as well. And our concern at the fire department and the fire district is that we receive no funding, and we go there quite often, both the women's and the men's, for medical aids at both facilities, for both inmates, personnel that's there, and visitors as well. So it is a huge resource that we have to put towards both prisons that at times takes away those resources that both cities definitely need. So those are our concerns, and Tim will be as part of that in the future, certainly when it comes to the protest as well. So
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would also add that the fire district has been adamantly opposed to this whole expansion.
What's ridiculous, and when there's an escape, we respond. The perimeter is not secured the way it should be. It was brought out that one of the fences had been down or broken for, a year, and they hadn't fixed it, so you can't secure a perimeter. The whole thing is just a mess, and for them to put millions of dollars in a new hospital when they won't fix up the current facility is just, it's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and that's part of the safety of our community as well. So, anyway, get off my soapbox. Our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 5th, here in the council chambers at 7 o'clock, with closed session starting at 6 if necessary. And with that, we are adjourned.
Can't believe June's here.